Why do we have regrets? Are they necessary? So today, I'm going to look into regret and take it apart. Now, when I'm talking about regret, what do I mean? So for this, I mean a bad feeling about something that was done in the past. So if you have mistakes that you've made in the past, but you don't feel bad about it, I'm not including that under what is a regret. What's important is the feeling that it's bad, the negative feeling. So for this video, I would like you to really think about when I ask a question, to think about it, and please feel free to stop the video until you have an answer. So let's start. So first, I'd like you to think about a regret that you used to have, but you don't have anymore. So what happened? And why did it end? Okay, next, I'd like you to think about a regret that started much later than the event, the regretful event. So, for example, the event happened 4 weeks ago, but 2 weeks ago, you started feeling regret. So there was a space between those. When did it start, the regret? And why? Why did it start then? So what's important here is to see that first, regrets can end, and that they can start at different times. They can start right when the regretful situation happened, or it can be later. So if you had a perfect life right now, would you have any regrets? If you had a perfect life right now, would you have any problems? Let's look into problems. So let's say you have a problem and you feel really bad about it. Then you do something, or something happens, and you solve the problem. How do you feel? Do you feel bad? Would you continue to feel bad even after the problem is solved? It seems that not only would you not feel bad, you'd feel good. You'd feel relieved that the problem is over. Is regret a problem? Or more accurately, does it show that there is a problem? So let's go back to the regrets that you're thinking about before. So first, the one that started after a space after the regretful event. Why did the regret start then? Was this when a problem arose? Let's look at an example. Let's say you say something bad to a person. And it's a stranger, so you don't really feel bad about it. And life goes on. Okay, but then you find out that you have a new boss, and that person you spoke to is actually his sister. Now, how do you feel? Now, do you have regret? If you notice, the regret starts when the problem starts, because it's now a problem. So how about regrets that ended? Why did they end? Was this when the problem stopped being a problem? Like, did you do something, or something happened where the regretted thing was no longer a problem? Even if we look at regrets that have faded in time, so when regrets you had when you were younger, did they fade away because the problem faded away? Can you have a regret that's not a problem? Well, if we use the definition I was saying about before, where you feel bad about it, then a regret is a problem. Is a regret just a problem that hasn't been solved yet? Is it a problem that continues? So does a problem say more about you now than the actual regretful event? Okay, so let's now think about a regret that you have now. So why is this a problem? Why does it feel bad? What is the problem? So let's look at an example regret and see how we can find the problems. I'm going to use an example of, last night I had a concert and I played really badly. But you could think of this as a sporting event, a game that you performed badly in if you're an athlete, or a meeting that you didn't go well at work, or a speech you gave. Okay, some event happened yesterday and it didn't go well. So what is the problem? Well, okay, I say, well, I want to perform well. I want to play well. And I didn't. That's why I feel bad. Okay, so that's the problem. All right, so what can I do? Well, there are three sane things that we can do when faced with a problem or difficult situation. We can leave the situation, we can change it, or we can accept the situation. So what would be an example? If there's a loud noise, like a loud bell, I can leave the area. I'm okay, no more problem. I can change, maybe turn it off, find a way to turn it off or stop the sound. Or I accept it and think maybe I can't do anything, I can't turn it off, so I'll just have to accept it. And it'll be okay. It'll turn off eventually. So let's look into this and say, well, okay, after the performance last night, I look into it and I say, what can I do? Well, I need to practice more. Okay. Let's say I love practicing. Okay, so I practice more. No problem. Now, even do I regret last night? I might feel a little bad about it, but I could even start to feel good about it and say, wow, that really shows me how important practice is. And maybe even before that performance, I was working too much, I didn't have time. So now I know, okay, next time I have to make sure I have time to practice. Okay, again, no problem. Now what if I think, okay, I have to practice, but I can't practice right now? Okay, well then that's a problem. So we look into, again, is it something I can leave, change, or accept? Well, I don't know how I would leave the situation, but maybe I could change it. Maybe I'm at work right now. I just stop working or stop doing what I'm doing and start practicing. Or I accept that I can't practice right now, but when I get home, I can practice. Again, no problem. But let's look at maybe a more realistic situation where I see that I just don't like practicing. Okay, so now what's the problem? Here, the problem is one of conflicting beliefs. I have a belief that says, I should be a good performer. Performing is fun, is exciting, and makes me feel great. And the other belief is, practicing is boring and I don't want to do it. Okay. I can't have those both. Or, well, I can have them both, but then I just suffer the pain of having those conflicting beliefs. So, okay, what can I do about it? Well, I can do something about each of these. Again, with that leave, change, or accept. So I look into performance and say, well, I could leave it. Just stop performing. Maybe it's best if I just play at home and I'm just not a good performer. Now, if I really accept that, I'm okay with it. Again, no problem. Or I might think that music is just too difficult. So I should start practicing or start playing easier songs. Okay. Again, if I'm okay with it, no problem. What about on the practice side? I can say, okay, practicing is boring, but maybe I look at ways to make practicing more interesting. I look at videos on how to practice and warm up. It makes it much better. I might change my schedule and how I practice, how long I practice. Okay. Again, I get better. No problem. Okay. Now, how about accepting it? I could get to the point where maybe I say, I want to play that type of music. And I don't like practicing. I tried and I just don't like it. Well, I can accept that I don't like it and that when I practice, it's not going to be enjoyable, but the rewards are worth it. Being able to perform well. Again, if I'm okay with that, there's no problem. Now, the important thing is that I'm working on the problem itself instead of worrying about a past regret, something that I can't do anything about. Now, how about regret as motivation? Now, was it motivation to find the problem that the regret was pointing to? Well, so I regretted how I played last night, and it feels bad. But what feels bad is not the regret. Not really. It's the problem. Because we know I've done things before that were bad, but I don't regret them. Why don't I regret them? Is because they're not a problem. So what is actually the painful thing is the problem. So I could say the problem or the pain of the problem is the motivation. Now, how about, we see regret as motivation for someone wanting to lose weight and, getting that motivation to go to the gym. So maybe in this situation, the motivation to continue practicing. So I practice and I practice, but sometimes I just really don't want to practice. And that's when I need that pain of the regret to make me continue practicing. Now, is that the pain of the regret? Or is that the pain of the problem that I thought I had figured out, but actually didn't? So maybe I look into it again and I find that not only it's not that I don't like practicing, is I hate practicing. Okay, so now I have to reevaluate everything. And maybe now it is change what I'm playing, not performing, or something like that. But again, I'm focusing on the problem. The regret is not needed for the motivation. The regret just points to the problem. The problem is what has to be worked on. Okay, so let's say I want to continue playing this kind of music and I hate practicing. So these two beliefs won't budge. What do? Again, I can't keep them both unless I want to suffer the pain. Okay. So I go into each of these more and I ask questions. So practice is boring. Okay. Why do I think so? Okay, why is practice boring? Wow, okay. And ask the question and just wait, see what answer arises. Oh, it's a waste of time. Okay, I don't like wasting time. Okay. Why is practice a waste of time? oh, no, maybe I find, oh, I got this kind of bad image of practice. Like maybe a good guitar player doesn't need practice. Okay. Some crazy belief. Okay, but then that's the thing to work on. And for some of these beliefs, just seeing them, and you say, oh, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. You can let them go. But maybe you'll have to dig down deeper. On the other side, maybe I look at the performance. Go, why do I want to perform so bad? Well, I feel good about it. Okay, but why does it feel good? Because I think I'm looking really good. I think I look cool. I think, musicians are cool. So, okay. Being cool is important to me? Oh, yes. Well, why? Oh, I feel like I'm not that cool. Oh, really? I don't feel really stylish. I don't feel, wow. So now it's not, again, a regret problem. The problem is I have some issues with my self-image or self-esteem. Now, again, those are the problems to work on, not the regret. So the important thing is I'm working on the problem, not a regret, not this past event. I'm doing something that I can actually do. So I hope that this clarifies what regret is and what can be done about it. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. So that's it for today. Until next time.